All right, let's take a look at the All-State Playoff Predictor. Georgia boasting the best chance to make the playoff with a 76% chance. And this weekend, of course, the game. Michigan with a 59% chance to make the playoff, and Ohio State, 64% chance to make the playoff. So, of course, we just heard those numbers. Heather, I'm going to ask you this. I know we've talked about it already, but if Ohio State loses, what is their path to the playoff?
Well, if Ohio State loses, they need somebody else to have an upset in their conference championship game as well. And it would probably benefit them in that scenario if Georgia beat Alabama, because that would eliminate the possibility of two SEC teams. So you have Georgia in. If Florida State loses, that helps Ohio State. And so then you would have Michigan, Ohio State, Georgia, and the Pac-12 champ, or Texas. So they probably need another upset as well, because I don't think they would get in. I would almost positive they wouldn't get in over the Pac-12 champ. So they need an upset there, and they could possibly get in ahead of Texas.
Okay, that'd be very interesting.
Yeah, so key matchups this weekend. It is rivalry week, said it right, and they always say during rivalry week, throw out the records, throw it all out, because anything can happen. And we're going to have Florida State versus Florida. Now, both teams have injuries towards their quarterback position. Graham Mertz, he has a collarbone injury, so he's out. And we obviously know about Jordan Travis. Our predictor gives the Seminoles a 60% chance to make it to the CFP. And they got a tough 2 games left. You know, they're going to have to see Louisville, and they're going to see Florida as well. So, Heather, I'll ask you this question. Do the Seminoles have to win out to make the CFP? I feel like we've answered that question, but let's address it.
Yes, absolutely. And not only do they have to win out, they have to prove that they are a top 4 team with Tate Rodemaker leading the offense. And they need to do it against a team like Louisville. They should beat Florida. They should be expected to beat Florida. But at the end of the day, this is a team that has to show the selection committee that they continue to be dominant against a ranked opponent, because they haven't had those opportunities lately, even with Jordan Travis in the lineup. So their best wins are against LSU, and now Clemson snuck into the top 25 this week with 4 losses. But that counts as a good win for Florida State. But they certainly, to be able to punctuate that resume with a win against the committee's number 10 team, Louisville, with the backup quarterback, that's exactly what they need to do.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about Oregon, because obviously the committee thinks that they're better than Texas and Alabama at this point. They would have to win out, though, in order to make it to the CFP. There's no way that they could possibly make it into the CFP. However, we like a little chaos, right? So what is the possibility that Oregon can actually sneak their way into the CFP, even if they lose to their rival Oregon State?
Ooh, so then you're talking about a 2-loss Pac-12 champ,
Right.
which no 2-loss team has ever made the college football playoff. That doesn't mean it can't happen, but let's see. So I'm playing this out in real time in my brain as we talk about this. So
That's what we want.
They beat Washington, which is a top 4 win. So then you have, let's say, Ohio State beats Michigan. That eliminates a second Big Ten team. So you've got Ohio State in. Georgia wins the SEC, so that eliminates 2 SEC teams. Alabama's out. So you've got Georgia, Michigan, Florida State has to lose, and anyone other than Texas wins the Big 12. Boom, I did it. Oregon's in.
Wow, that's amazing. I love Heather's brain, because I could never. That's so great.
Literally, there's so many different scenarios here. But that's really what makes this year's college football playoff so special. And it's the last time that we're going to have the 4 teams. So all this drama and the chaos, inject that into my veins. And you just brought up Texas, right? They still don't know who they're playing in the Big 12 championship game. So for their chances to make the CFP, does it matter who they play? Do they want Oklahoma to get in there so you can avenge that loss that you have against them? What are your thoughts on their possibility to win out and their opponent in the Big 12 championship?
I think the best game would be against K-State. That would be fun. But for their purposes, yes, I think having Oklahoma oppose them in the Big 12 championship game would be the ideal situation, because they could show the committee they could avenge the regular season loss, and Oklahoma would be the highest ranked available opponent for them to knock off. Because remember, everyone is watching these conference championship games together. It's the only weekend of the year that the committee watches these games together. No one is going to have a better opportunity to impress the committee that day than Alabama, because they play the #1 team in the country. Oregon is going to have a great chance against Washington if Oregon is the team that winds up making it to the Pac-12 championship game. And then, you know, the tough one is in the Big Ten, where somebody's going to face Iowa. That's not going to really do much for them, but the Big Ten champion is in. But if Texas can play Oklahoma, avenge that regular season loss, that would be the best case scenario for them.
All right, Heather, thank you so much for taking all of our questions that are, you know, impossible scenarios, just throwing everything at you. I said I love your brain, so thank you for, I know you're very busy, so thank you.
Yeah, Heather, I've been seeing your tweets about how your boys are arguing downstairs and everything.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We didn't hear them,
Your
if that helps.
father-in-law bringing in groceries and stuff. Yeah, it's been great. It's been great. You're killing it. Thank you, Heather.
Thanks, guys.
Give me something.